I was one of the people that played Mihoshi in Tenchi Muyo. And I've been doing voice acting for over 30 years. Pretty crazy. And I've been in a lot of anime. On the IMDb it says 88 titles, but it's actually been quite a bit more. I can't remember what they are, but one of them was, I played the part of Minmay in RoboCat. Some of my latest ones was Code Geass as Nunnally. And Sui Seiseki in Rosen Maidens. And there's just like a whole list. I actually copied it because I always forget what I did. So it's great to be here.
Hi, I'm Katrina Burchard, and I played Ryoko in Tenchi Muyo. This is exciting. Tenchi is the only anime and the only animation I ever did, except for some background voices in Lane. I do a little bit of other voiceover, just some commercials that you probably don't care about, but that's it. Ryoko was my big thing, and I really am thrilled that you all are here.
Hey everybody, I'm Sherry Lynn, and I was fortunate enough to play Sasami, Tsunami, Pretty Sammy. Yeah. So it kind of has a special place in my heart for anime. It was my first big one. Since then, I've done a lot of anime. Okay, I would say it was probably Chesnut and Wolfman. I love that. Animation for Disney and Pixar, all of those movies, and try to keep as busy as I can. So nice to see you all.
Hi, I'm Ellen Christel. I think I was the Mihoshi at the start of the series here, and that was the only anime that I did. I've done My Little Pony, Rude Dog and the Dweebs, lots of different types of animation for all different companies, but that was the only anime.
Yes, we'll open up the Q&A now for Ben to you, of course. So if you guys would like to ask questions, I can bring around a mic. Other one. Check. I can bring around a mic, whoever wants to comment first. Love it.
Dan.
So how does it feel to come to a convention after a show that's been around for a while, and to come to a convention and to see that you are so loved?
It's always exciting. It's sort of surreal, really.
Yeah, it feels pretty darn good to see everybody still enjoying Tenchi after all these years.
Yeah, it's amazing that when you do something that has that kind of effect on people and that much of a response, that you'd still be interested. It's great.
Rebecca and I were talking in the green room about how after today we have to go back to our normal lives. And our families and friends would go, oh, okay.
Next question. Don't be shy, guys.
Is there a so that you had the most fun doing?
It's hard to remember them all all the time, but I have to. It was the one where Ryoko got to be really bad and run around the galaxy with the bad guy, Robin Banks. And she's like eating in a chair and weeping for Tenchi. That was fun. Who was that?
Mine was funny because I played Miyoshi in, mainly, but I also played the part of a karaoke mom, which was I don't even know what episode it was in, but it was really fun because I don't normally play moms because my voice is really young sounding, but it was really funny. I mean, it was just like really outside of my normal voice range, and so I don't know if anybody remembers what that was.
I remember that karaoke.
You
Yeah.
do? Okay. Yeah, I don't even remember the name of the character now, but it was funny.
Have you had any instances where people would actually recognize your voice on the street, and then how odd were their reaction if they did recognize your voice?
Yeah, I think that's happened to me a couple of times. Actually, in really weird situations, like, not people that I would have expected to be anime fans, and then all of a sudden they went, you played, Minmay or whatever it was, and they go nuts. Yeah, it was really funny.
I'm always surprised that I'll get information sent to me, and it's like they'll know I was a character in either a game or in a show where I never even took credit. So it's like, you guys are good. Wow.
I'm always surprised that Tenchi had such a big influence. A neighbor of mine was talking about he's kind of into anime, and he's about 23, 24, something like that. And so I told him, oh, I voiced an anime character once, and he says, really, which one? And I said, well, it was kind of a long time ago. It's called Tenchi Muyo. What character? And I said, she was a space pirate, Ryoko. She's like, you were Ryoko? No, we share the back fence. His dog barks at my dog. I wasn't even estranged to him. I'm friends with his parents.
One of the funniest things was my boyfriend worked on Star Trek for 11 years on Enterprise and Voyager, and he was talking to one of the assistants and telling him that he knew me, that I had worked on Robotech, and this guy got so excited that he actually called him on the phone and I had to talk to him. And he just was working on a big, huge production of Star Trek, it's like, whoa, this is really weird.
Sherry, have you ever had an experience like that? I know you did Jasmine. You did Disney stuff, right?
Yeah, but I've been really, I have to just say, I'm just so lucky. It's always, I just say it's all in luck that I get the opportunity to do these things. I've done most of the Pixar films and the Disney films. My first one, which again, like Tenchi holds a soft spot for me as far as anime goes, was Little Mermaid, because that was my first really big, Disney film. And so it's fun. But it's true. It's amazing how people just recognize your voice. They're hiding anything.
You're allowed.
We can hear you.
This may sound incredibly stupid, but what part did you play on the Varsity
In Tenchi?
No, Little Mermaid.
Little Mermaid. Now you're going back almost how many years?
Ariel's sister.
I was in one of the sister voices, and then a lot of there was like a little group of ish at some. It was like a school. If there's like a school where there's children around, I'm there.
What? You don't get any Disney pictures just by that.
Thank you.
No room or what?
Next person with a question, go for it.
As far as sound room anecdotes, I've talked to other voice actors, and they always have their worst story. Like some of the Peter Cullen, for example, he talks about how he was spitting up blood one time, like that. It's like, what's some of your screwed up stories in the South?
I'll go for that. Two things are my core in doing any kind of voiceover work. One, where you've been working so hard, and especially anime, you know, you have to, it's the time code, and it's the lip flap and the whole thing, and then you're just exhausted and you get the giggles. Horrible, there's no getting Sherry out of it, and then there's always one word or one name in the script that I cannot say for the life of me, and it's like every other line.
Okay, I have two. One, I think I did 47 takes on the word brewery because I didn't realize I had trouble saying R's until that word. So that was really frustrating. And the only other ridiculous thing I used to do the character Strawberry Shortcake, but I did her on records and personal appearances as this thing years ago. And so I did a lot of talking and singing on these children's records. One night on David Letterman, he says, "This is the worst thing I have ever heard someone sing. You won't believe how high this person goes." He holds up my Strawberry Shortcake record. And he puts on me doing New York, New York in a sound only dogs could hear. That was me.
I have one. There was an episode when Tenchi Muyo, when Ryoko sang a sort of a rock tune. And I don't remember what it was, but of course in the Japanese episode, I orikasa. And they translated it into English, and this was when Tenchi, in the early episodes when Tenchi was still produced by Pioneer, I believe, and our Japanese producer, Miyoko Mura. Yeah, Miyoko really wanted me to sing it because she wanted it in the same voice as the speaking voice, and I told Miyoko I can't sing. And she said, "Oh, of course you can sing. You can speak, you know, you're a good talker, of course you can sing." And I said, "Well, I can carry a tune, you know, but I can't sing a rock song. You have to be a really good singer to do rock." And she gave me the song, and she insisted that I sing it. She sent me home and told me to practice, and I did. I went home and practiced, and in the shower I was superb. I was terrified, and I knew I really couldn't do it. And you know, they pay for studio time. That's one of the biggest expenses in these productions. And I made everybody sit at the other side where they couldn't see me, and then I moved the mic back behind the wall so that nobody could see me. And I really tried, but I could just feel them over there laughing. It was the worst embarrassment I've ever felt in my life. And they let me get about halfway through the song. And then they believed me.
I think for me, it's being asked to do an accent, like a certain type of accent. There's a few accents I could do pretty easily, like a New York accent or a Southern accent, but every once in a while I get asked to do an Asian accent, and I just can't do it. I don't know what it is, I just don't have that ear for that. So that's always scary.
Can you try one right now?
Have you guys ever met someone who had copier voice as a job? I know a lot of voice actors these days have other people copy them.
Oh yeah, Melissa Fun, I always, either I'm doing her voice when she's off doing a show, or you know, I guess she does some of my voices, I don't know. It sounds a little similar.
I'm sure they do it, I've never met them.
Anyone else with a question? Oh, we've got plenty.
Being that all of you ladies are voice actors, have you ever actually created independent voices, like little characters on your own? Just kind of like voice stuff. Did you have used for a specific anime character yet, or Disney character, ever used?
I almost always get cast for my voice for some reason. Not really doing too much of a variation at all those, you know, maybe younger or older. So I don't really go around making voices. I really talk weird like my dog.
Well, you try that all the time, but it's your job, so you're being paid to do a voice. So if one doesn't work, your job is to come up with something else till they like it.
I remember Ellen and I met on My Little Pony, and the audition, we had to come up with 30 different pony voices. And they gave us a week with the description of the ponies, and it was homework. And I was listening to, older actresses, Betty Davis and Marilyn and all of these, just trying to get those nuances. So that in that way, I hope that answers your question. We come up and we create characters in that way.
Are there any current projects you're working on that we should look forward to in the future or out right now?
I've just been working on a movie that's going to come out called The Lorax. It's a Dr. Seuss movie. And it's kind of fun. I've been working on that one. And then with Pixar, they've been doing some Monsters, Inc. is having like little shorts. So we're doing a couple of
This one's for Rebecca. I'm going to go a little bit off the subject, but I'm a fan of a parody series called Code Meds. And I was wondering if you could do not only voice, can you say, every day I pray I was adopted in not only voice?
Every day I pray I was adopted.
There was a question in the back. Is that correct?
Yeah, I was gonna ask. This was for Patria. I was wondering. You didn't do the voice of Ryoko for OVA 3, as I recall. Any particular reason?
I was warned I would probably get that question. There is a particular reason, but I don't think I should talk about it. It's really just a business reason, and I think it would be unprofessional of me to discuss it publicly. But I do want to say something else about that, if it's okay with you.
It's okay.
I've gotten a lot of email from fans. People have been really supportive and asking me if I'm going to come back and if there's another OVA and OVA. And I really, really appreciate that. And I loved playing Ryoko, and I would do it again if asked and if everything worked out. So just to dispel any rumors about that. And I also want to say that some people have said some kind of disparaging things about Mona Marshall playing the role. And I think, I don't know Mona, I've never met her, but I certainly know who she is. I think she's a voice acting superstar and a consummate professional. And I don't know of any actor who ever gives less than their best when they're working. So if you ever hear anybody say anything bad about her, I would just suggest that, maybe that person got used to hearing one person playing the character, and they're just not used to hearing another person playing it. And that's all it is. And I think Mona's terrific. So that's what I want to say.
Did any of you ever get to meet or interact with your Japanese counterparts who did the roles, the Tenchi roles?
In the very beginning, we were talking about that earlier. After we'd done maybe just 3 or 4 episodes at the most, there was, we were famous remembering this. There was a convention in Anaheim that our producers took us to, and the Japanese actors were there. They came, and we all sat on a panel together. And that's about all we remember. We had no idea what we were getting into. Anime hadn't quite taken off yet. Japanese actors were really sophisticated. They knew all about this, what was happening. And we were kind of, do you remember? I remember I already, she was this hot little thing, and all the guys were really just boggling at her. I just kept looking at her going, whoa, this thing, what do you? It's really, really
As a follow-up, when you guys first got your roles, were you given the voices, the original Japanese voices, as part of you building your character? Did you hear your counterparts, and that's something that you worked on? And you all said that you take the homework home and you build a voice from looking at the character. Did you have a chance to hear the originals, in other words?
At the audition, I remember Miyoko letting us hear different voices, and we actually auditioned for multiple roles until we were given the lines. So, and when you go in to do a show, they'll always play the character in your ear, you don't get it ahead of time, like now when we're cast. It's like you go in, here's your script, you're going to do this line, listen to the sound and try and get the same tone, and the directors who hire you kind of know, what your range is, and that if you're able to do it or not.
Yeah, we never know, we don't even know what the story's about most of the time. We just go in and we do our little parts. So it's pretty much cold reading through the whole thing. But they do play the Japanese. When I first started doing anime stuff, they didn't always do that because they were kind of rewriting the story for an American audience. But now they want to stick as close to the Japanese as possible, so we always do listen to it. Trying to get the feel of it.
Yeah, you try to honor the original actor.
Yeah, I just wondered, like, how was like the, what do you feel was like the difference between like doing the show and doing the movie?
It's really funny when we do voice work. Usually we don't even know the difference. It's like, oh, I was in the movie. I didn't even know that.
Honestly, you just get the script right there with your lines, and I have no idea what any other character's doing, what the story's about. Occasionally they'll say, "You're really scared right now," and they're like, "Oh, okay." So it's that much of the looking in the dark, continually.
You always consider yourself lucky if somebody else has recorded their tracks before you, so that at least you get to act with somebody else's voice, and then you have a kind of a better idea of what's going on. If you're the first one to record that scene, you're kind of
love it when you can.
likewise, or one member or somebody else, anybody else. It's always thrilled to have somebody else to act with. Otherwise, you're acting by yourself, and you have to hope that the director at least has a good idea of what's going on.
We can take 2 more questions.
Since all of you have been in the voice industry for so long, I actually took a couple of courses when I was in school. I was wondering if you actually have your own home studio that you made for yourselves. Because my teacher has one of those, and she did the whole little sound box and stuff like that. Do any of you have that for yourselves at home?
That's actually, been something that's been a little bit difficult for a lot of voice actors because it used to be that we would go into our agent's office and audition, and they did all the stuff and they'd send it in and everything, and now it's like you have to have your own home studio if you want to do it. You don't have to have a big expensive one, but at least you have to have a microphone, a decent microphone, and some way to record. And I just use I'm not. I can't get the sound like an engineer can get, so it's really frustrating sometimes, and I just use Audacity.
I just use my closet.
Yeah, so it doesn't have to be really expensive.
When you guys first started on the Tenchi series, a lot of you used different names. Was there a reason behind that, or people not sure they were going to keep doing this, or stuff?
Did we? I remember on that show. Sometimes, see the way dubbing they call it dubbing, is a whole different animal when it comes to voice acting, and as far as like contracts and things like that, and they didn't, for a long time, they just didn't even have a contract. We tried, but people didn't take it seriously because they didn't really know what it was. So sometimes we protected ourselves.
I know you had your question, so let's have that in.
Okay, this is for everyone on the panel. What is your favorite line from Tenchi Muyo? And if you can, do that line in the voice.
I couldn't give you a line, honestly, but I'll tell you the favorite thing that I personally did, and I have no idea the episode, but I had to sing in it, and so I've been a professional singer, so doing that was my favorite moment. And I'm not gonna sing.
You know, I'm so sorry. I can't remember a specific line. I just know Sasami was always talking about food, and Pretty Sammy was always talking about her love wand. So it was pretty much, those were my two lines that, you know.
Yeah, it was more like chewing sounds, yeah, because we know she was always hungry too.
Yeah.
You have to do the sound effects too.
Yeah, we did. It's been nearly 10 years since the last episode we recorded, so you'll forgive me if I don't remember any of the lines.
If you give us the line,
But
How about the laugh?
What's your favorite line?
The laugh.
yeah, oh, the laugh.
The laugh.
The laugh?
Ryoko's laugh. Ryoko's laugh. Yeah.
Ryoko's laugh is my laugh. You know, I just
Anyone have a funny joke? Yeah.
Get some jokes out in here.
I just, yeah, I think her voice is my voice, pretty much. You know, or how I would be if I were 700 years old. Was hanging out with some guy who was hanging out with all these other women who were frankly not nearly as interesting as I was. That was in character, that wasn't me.
you also have to remember we probably all have ARP cards, so we can't remember. Oh, ARP. For a certain age.
It's right before you become Soylent Green.
Round of applause for our guest. I really see you guys later today for autographs, correct?
I think so.
Like right
Now.